Action. Okay. Well, hello. Welcome everybody to Concurrent Student Orientation. I'm Jessica. I work in student affairs. I'm online with two of my colleagues, Chris and Blake, and they'll introduce themselves. This session is really just to provide you all with some information that'd be helpful for you to be successful. We want you to be successful in these courses while you're still in high school. So thanks for choosing MACU to take these online or on ground concurrent courses. And so we will proceed. Let me click to the next slide. Make sure I can advance. Okay, here's our agenda. We did our welcome. My colleagues will take over, do their sessions, and then I'll wrap up with mine. This is being recorded. It'll be sent out to everyone, so you all can always pause it, gather information, rewind it back if you need it. So there's that. We will start with Chris with our technology.
Thank you, Dean Jessica. So my name is Chris Canary. I serve as MACU's Director of Student Services, and we're going to talk about technology a little bit. So Jessica, I'm actually going to share my screen a little bit.
Yes, when we stop mine.
Yes, I just took that over from you, and I believe I'm sharing mine now.
You are.
And so the page we're looking at this point, let me hide these meeting controls up top. The page I'm on right now is macu.onelogin.com. So think about macu.onelogin.com or just OneLogin, you often hear it called. Think about that as like your smartphone to the university. So you know how like once you have access to your phone, you just click on the apps and you go to the different things that you need. That's how OneLogin works. If you don't have access to OneLogin, you don't have access to any of these applications that you're going to use as a student with us. Now, you won't use all of these, and we're not going to click on all of these this evening, but I want to show you at least the main ones that you're going to be using as you're going through your courses. And so the primary ones are going to be Canvas, and then you might use every once in a while the MACU portal, your student email address over here, and then Watermark sometimes. We have some other resources out there like Upswing Tutoring and Grammarly, but those might come up as you go through your classes, like if you need a little extra help outside of what your instructor provides. So let me just say a few things first about Gmail. This is your official school email address. Once students start with us here at MACU, we can no longer send account-specific information to their personal email addresses. We need to send it to their student email addresses because it's something called FERPA. And so if you ever ask for a copy of your schedule or verification of enrollment or anything like that, we have to send it to your school email address or provide that information to you over the phone. I know everybody likes to text in this world, and texting is a great way to deliver information, but it's not a secure method. So if you ever text us with a question, we might often have to send you to your email or just give you a call on your cell phone. Watermark is kind of like having the University Solution Center in your pocket. If you ever click on this, you can find quite a few things. We're not going to really click on this evening because the majority of students that are going to watch this video are taking classes for dual credit as concurrent students with their high school. But just know, if you ever have questions or need to get in touch with MACU Solution Center, you can find our contact information in here. I am going to click on this MACU portal real fast to show you what this is. The M portal or the MACU portal is kind of like your administration building with the university. You may not ever use this as a student with us, but if you ever need to find a form or if you ever want to look at your schedule or look at account balances, you can do so here. So let's go ahead and click on this, and I'm just going to point out a few things. On the MACU portal, you'll notice we even put here at the top, the MACU portal functions much like an administration building. There's a lot of different things that you can click on up here at the top. There are quick links over on the left-hand side. So if you ever need to pay tuition, like if you want to pay for your classes, or if you ever want to request an official transcript or find the university catalog, you can find all those things over here on the quick links. The majority of students, however, will use the Student Services tab. So if you ever click on this, this is where you can find your official class schedule. So whether you're taking classes as a concurrent student, a traditional student, or a non-traditional student, this is always where you can find your official schedule. And Dean Jessica will have a photo of what that'll look like. This is just a test account. And so this test account isn't enrolled in any classes, but this is where you can go to find like which courses you're enrolled in, where the class will meet. If it's on campus, it'll show you which day of the week it will meet, what time, which room it meets, all those different things. Down below that, you can find our contact information, and you can find a ton of different forms if you ever need to pursue things like accommodations or vehicle registration or exit interviews. All kinds of different things can be found on this page. If you ever become a full-time student with us here at the university, you also have access to this degree progress tab, which is where you can go to do degree audits on yourself and download report cards. So if you ever need to find a copy of your report card to show to your school counselor to show that you passed a class or how you're doing in the course, you can download those there. You can also download unofficial copies of your transcript down below that. So that's the main stuff that you're going to use on the Student Services tab. You may sometimes use the Finances tab or Public Safety or Student Life as you go throughout this. But generally, if someone has a question, I'm always going to direct them to go and give us a call or reach out to us in the Solutions Center, because our team in Student Services, we could probably answer 90 to 95% of your questions on the spot or help you navigate to the stuff you need so you're not just out there trying to find things on your own. So once you're in the MACU portal, if you go to Student Services, that's generally where you can find your class schedule, your report cards, and our contact information. And so that's the administration building. Another thing I'm going to show you right here is I know a lot of students, especially dual credit or concurrent students, pay for their classes as they go. And so if you ever need to make a payment to our bursar's office, this Transact app right here will have everything you need listed in there. Now, I also want to spend some time, the majority of our time, what's left, to talk about Canvas. I know the majority of students who are alive or have gone through COVID have experience with Canvas or online learning systems. So we're just going to do a quick overview of this. But to access your classes, you'll click on Canvas. And then once you're in here, there'll be a few things that you have access to. You'll notice that there are a bunch of links over here on the left-hand side. I'm just going to show you the dashboard because the dashboard will have listed out all the courses that you are enrolled for. Generally, you will gain access to your class a week before it starts. So if your class kicks off this Friday, you should have gotten access to it if you were enrolled in everything last Friday. But to access your course, you just click on the tile that has the name. And once you're in there, you'll notice that it brought us to courses, and it has another list of different options on this left-hand side. This home area will show you the announcements. It'll have different information about your course, but you can also, if you click on announcements, see everything that your instructor has already posted for you in that class. I always encourage students to keep an eye on the home and announcements because this is often like the lecture hall. Your instructor will often post their late policy in there, their contact information, pretty much things you need to know week by week if you're taking online classes or if you're taking on-campus classes. So always keep an eye on the announcements. To do your homework or the things that are coming up week by week, if you click on modules, this is where you can go to find an outline or a table of contents of your actual class. I always encourage students to start at the top with course documents and then work your way down because it generally goes in chronological order. In course documents, this is generally where you can find your syllabus. It's often where you can find your instructor's late policy, different information about the university, APA resources, academic honesty and integrity policies, which includes like AI usage. And I know Dean Jessica will go over AI usage in just a moment. But to actually do the work in your class week by week, you just scroll down to the week of the course that you're in, and it'll have different options that you can click on. I always say to start with the introduction because this will generally show you which pages to read from your textbook. If your course uses a textbook, it'll often have the learning objectives for the week, what's coming up, to just give you that bird's eye view, the 10,000-foot view of everything you need to know of what's going to happen during that week. Below that, there might be another link for readings and resources. This will often have more information about the pages that you're going to read, or if you have to watch YouTube videos or TED Talks or anything along those lines, those will show up in here. And then below that, you'll notice in this example, there are discussions and assignments. I encourage every student to learn how to do discussions, whether they're taking their classes fully on campus or not, because we live in Oklahoma and Oklahoma has inclement weather. So in a post-COVID world, there's no such thing as classes being canceled. Most often, they won't be canceled because of inclement weather. They'll just be moved online for the week. And oftentimes, the classes will just be virtual in the discussion post here, or your instructor will host them via Zoom. But to do a discussion post, you just click on the link. And then Canvas will have all the information you need about submitting that discussion post. Now, go ahead and ignore this part. This is more lined up for our non-traditional students. Keep an eye on what your instructor posts of when things are due in their classes. But to actually do a discussion post, you just read all the instructions at the top, and then you can hit reply right here, and it'll have a chat box that you can type up your discussion right down here. Now, Canvas is a very strong learning management software, but it doesn't have a draft mode. So if your internet goes out for whatever your reason while you're typing up a discussion, you might lose it. So what we often encourage students to do is to actually type up your discussions in Microsoft Word, which does have a draft mode, and you just copy and paste it over. It might save you a headache. Chances are your internet's not going to go out, but sometimes it can save you a headache. But you can edit everything in here. It's got some powerful tools. You can attach different documents if you need to. But once you hit reply, it'll post your discussion, and then you can just go right down through there and respond to all your classmates as well. So discussions are pretty self-explanatory, very simple to use, but if you ever run into any issues with them, just give us a call in the Solution Center. We can log into your class with you and make sure you find all the buttons to click on. To do assignments, same exact thing. I'm going to go back to modules, go back down to week 1 and find the assignment under the discussion. So let's find the assignment that's due. We click on the title of it. And then in here, it'll have all the instructions that you need. It'll let you know how to save your document. And let me say up front that yours will actually have an option to submit your assignments down below the instructions. So if you scroll down below the instructions on this page, there will be a rocket ship that will essentially let you drag and drop your assignment, whether it's a Word document, a PowerPoint, Excel document. You just drag and drop that on there and submit it from there. Now, I also want to point out, let's say you've submitted all your assignments to your instructor, or you're done for the week and you want to find out what you made on those. If you ever go to grades in your class, then this is where you can find out if you submitted your assignments. It'll show you what you made on your assignment, and you can also see your instructor's feedback right here as well. So always keep an eye on your instructor's feedback. It's going to be helpful week by week. Not only will they say the areas that you can improve on, but they'll also encourage you in the areas that you've done great in. So keep an eye on your score in your class. You can do test scores. So if I was curious, like, hey, how can I pull off a very high A in this class? I can go to assignment and click on score and test, like, okay, if I made a 99% on this, what would that do to my grade? I'd be doing great in that class. So always keep an eye on the grades here. The last thing I'm going to show you on this part is people, because a lot of times we'll need to get in touch with our instructor, but let's say they forget to include their contact information in the announcements area. If you click on people, it'll bring up a list of everybody that's in your class. So let's say I'm teaching your class and you were trying to get in touch with me. You can find the person whose role is teacher. And if you click on their name, a lot of times it'll have their entire profile set up. That'll have their contact information in there, including like their cell phone number, their email address. All that can be found under people. But usually they're going to post that in the announcements, so you'll have access to it. But if at any point you get lost in Canvas, just give us a call in the Solution Center. Our team is in here all the time, and we're more than happy to help you walk through the information to track down what you need. We can't tutor you on the subject in there, but we have resources around the university that can assist in those areas. But Canvas, it's a pretty intuitive software, but if at any point you get lost, just give us a call. We're more than happy to come and find you and help you out with that. Outside of those things, you're free to click on all these different applications that you have access to. You might even have more than those, but if you ever have questions to those, just let our team know in Student Services, and we'll help you get connected to the right spot. But if you have any questions along those lines, I'm going to hang out in chat, so you can post those there. I'll be more than happy to assist. But outside of that, Jessica, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Okay, great. Chris, I have one thing. Will you go back to Canvas? And I just want to point out one little area I think I've just heard from students. Also on the left-hand side under inbox, some of your faculty members may reach out to you through this inbox. So just something to keep in mind is check that periodically, but also they may email you through your Gmail. So I know some students, like, I'm reaching out to my professor and I haven't heard back from them, and the student may be reaching out through Canvas in the inbox. And so I always encourage students, send it through the Canvas, but also follow up with the Gmail and vice versa, so that you just cover all your bases. So just wanted to point that out.
That's great advice. Yes, thank you.
Landon did have a question in the chat. And Blake, I think you'd be a great person to answer it. Is a vehicle permit required for concurrent students? You want to answer live?
Yes, I can. The best answer to that is yes, go ahead and make sure you do it. It costs you no extra money. So it'd be great to go ahead and fill that out, and we will have you'll send an email back to you that says you have the permit ready for you in a few days, and you'll pick it up in the mailroom, and you'll just go to the mailroom window and say your name, and they'll give you your permit, and you'll stick it on the back glass of your vehicle. So it doesn't cost you anything extra. We'd prefer you definitely have it.
Okay. And I'm going to type in the answer. If you need the vehicle permit, Landon, I'm going to type in an email where you can email us and we'll send it to you. studentlife@macu.edu. And send. Look at me getting on how to work things. Love that for me. Okay, I'm going to reshare my screen and advance the slide for Blake so he can do his thing. All right. There we go. Take it away, Blake.
All right, we're just going to talk about a couple different apps that we have available to you. The first is the Safe Zone app. The Safe Zone app is a great app for us to communicate with you about emergencies. And as Chris just mentioned a second ago, if there's inclement weather, that's the first notification that goes out through the Safe Zone app about inclement weather. If we are going to start late or have or not have classes that particular day, or class will be online that particular day. So I encourage you. What you'll do is you'll download the Safe Zone app as it is, and then you'll put in your my.macu email address when you're doing your login, and it will automatically log you into the notifications that we send out through MACU Safe Zone. So that's the first thing about the Safe Zone app, is that you'll be able to get that information once you've got logged in. I also encourage you to go ahead and put your phone number in when you do your registration, because it will also send you a text. So let's say your app, maybe you have the notifications off or something like that, it will also send you the text on any emergency information that we're going to be sending out. So that's the first thing about the Safe Zone app. And then secondly, if you are on campus and say emergency happens, that Safe Zone app has just a huge red button that says call for emergency, and it will call the deputy on duty that's there 24/7 on campus. And that deputy will be able to respond to you immediately and get to where you are. So no matter where you are on campus, you hit that button, they'll be able to come and help you. So we encourage you to have that. Or if there's even questions, you can even do a check-in to let officers, deputies know that you're on campus. If you're, for whatever reason, you might want to let someone know that you're there, you can do a check-in, and that's fine. We have some professors and some other students who will do that as well. So that's the first thing, Safe Zone app. You download the Safe Zone app to your phone, and then put in your my.macu email address as your credentials for it, and it will get you locked into the stuff there. Then the next app is the MACU Life app, and you have the ability to access that if you just email us and say, hey, I want to get all of the information on the MACU Life app. There are some information that you can just actually, once you download the app, there's some things that are actually public view, like our campus life calendar is a public view, as well as our athletics calendar and a few other things that we put on there as public view. So you have some access to that. But if you want full access and get notifications about different events, go ahead, just email us, let us know that you want that access. We will put you in and reply back, hey, you're logged in now. Go ahead and put in your my.macu email, and you will have full access to it. So that also gives you a little bit of information about what's happening on campus. Talk about getting plugged in. You as a concurrent student, you do have access to come to events that are happening. And so if there's something you want to know what's going on, or you want to see what's happening on campus, that campus life calendar is a good place to start. But also there's notifications, like I said, through the app that we send out about events that are happening, and even calendar view of different things that take place, or the tiles that are on that app as well will give you opportunity to know what's happening and what's going on. So those two apps will help you understand a little bit what's going on. One, Safe Zone is really more for emergency sake. Also, just so that I always say this every semester, I have students who we have maybe an ice storm or something that occurs. They drive to campus, and there's, class has been delayed, or it's an online virtual day only. And they're like, what happened? Like, well, we sent the notification out to the Safe Zone app. I'm sorry you didn't get it. Make sure you download that so you can get it. And that way, before you leave your house, you'll have, you don't have to watch the news. You don't have to, get anything else. You'll be able to get that immediately, so that you know that you won't have to come for that particular day. Or if there's some other kind of emergency that occurs, you will get the most updated information right then. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to cover for this particular time.
Right on. Thank you, Blake. Okay, we'll move over. Okay, so I'm going to quickly cover some campus resources. Landon, if you have specific questions, feel free to drop those in the chat, and Chris will help communicate those. And Erica came online, so welcome, Erica. Thanks for joining us. All right, campus resources. So what are your resources? We want to provide wraparound student support to all of our students. And so I wanted to highlight specific ones that are going to be pertinent or super important to our concurrent students. And so first is our Learning Resource Center. So this is located in our Kennedy Hall at the bottom floor, also known as our basement. And so things that you can find in the Learning Resource Center are tutoring. So if you say, man, I'm really struggling in English Comp 1, or I need some additional help in another course, tutoring is a great place to go and receive help with that English Comp 1, maybe essay or discussion posts. There's also time management programs. So I know even as an adult in a full-time job, I struggle with time management. And so Caleb Strimmer, who's a student success coordinator in the LRC, has built and continues to pour into this time management program that just helps students acclimate and decide and help them learn, how do I manage my time? How do I be the best version, best student that can be successful? I also have a writing and communication lab resources. So there are some dedicated tutors that can help you with your essays, help you with your discussion posts. Again, we want you to be successful, and we know sometimes we may need help in learning, how can I be successful? How can I be the best student that I want to be? And then accommodations and testing. And so this is, if students need additional time for test taking, or they need additional resources to help with their assignments. Mark Robichaud in their office helps with accommodations. There is an application you would fill out. We're more than happy to help you through that process. We don't expect you guys to know everything. We just want you to know where to go and say, I need help, so that we can service you well. And then information technology. The biggest thing there is, if you cannot get into one login, you can always go into your MACU portal and send a help desk ticket. But now that I think about that, you would need to get into one login to submit a help desk ticket. So let me jump down to that last bullet point. Student services, the Solution Center would be great. They can get you over to IT to help. And so that's their phone number, but also their email. And so information technology can always help you reset your one login, because like Chris said, that is going to be your admin building. So you want to make sure you always have access to that so that you can ensure your success. Another good resource. Yeah, go for it.
Say just one quick thing.
Yeah.
Little known fact, our team does have administrative abilities in one login. So if we can't get in touch with IT and you're desperate for help, we might be able to unlock your one login or get you access to it.
I love that. Okay, good information. Thank you, Chris. Faculty members, please reach out to your faculty members for all academic related questions, like, I'm going to be late on an assignment, or I don't understand what this assignment's asking, I don't know what to do. If you maybe want to appeal your grade, your faculty member is going to be the best individual to reach out first, and then there may be other following steps that you'll need to complete. But talk to your faculty member. They want to make sure you're successful. They want to make sure that you pass the class and get the grade that you are working towards. So just shoot them an email. I always tell students, have a professional tone when you're reaching out to your faculty. Address them if they have a doctor in front of their name, so Dr. Period, or Professor Smith, whatever the case may be. So that is always going to be great when you can build a relationship with your faculty member, because it's easier to build a relationship and then rely on that throughout the semester when you may need assistance. And then Chris already mentioned, but I'll just reinforce, if you don't know where to go, Student Services Solution Center is here to help. And they have a cool term coined, the Google of MACU. They truly do know the ins and outs of pretty much everything, I would say, Chris. And so they can connect you to the people that you may need help with. If they don't know, they will find someone to tag in to assist. So those are just a couple resources that can be helpful. The Learning Resource Center, a lot of their information can be found through the MACU portal, and you can access a lot of those things. But also on the MACU Life app, there's a time management tile that's accessible. They're off the hours that they're open. That tile gives you information about that too. So there's a lot of good things. Then Upswing is one of the tutoring services that is available to students. So there are hundreds of different courses that are on Upswing, and there are tutors in real time that can assist you with anything that you may need help with. So say it's like a random time at night, 10 p.m. You can log in, use the Upswing resource, and they can assist you with that, anything that you may need. Anything that people want, my colleagues, Chris or Blake, want to add to what your resources are before?
Yeah, so Landon asked a good question there. He said, you mentioned faculty member a few times.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Generally mean the person who's teaching your class, say your professor or your instructor. Yep. So pretty much anytime you have questions about the content in your class, they're going to be your go-to person. So let's say, for example, Let's say you're taking an accounting course and you call the Solution Center and I answer it. Goodness, I have a background in religious studies. I'm going to be less than helpful in an accounting class. So we're always going to direct you to your instructor. But if you ever need help getting in touch with them, we can help track down their contact information as well. But yeah, whenever we say faculty member, we're talking about your instructors for your class.
Yes, thank you, Landon. Sometimes I just start using jargon and people need to be educated on that. So thank you, Chris. All right, course schedule. So this is, I just wanted to walk us through what your course schedule may look like. I also know on the macu.edu website, and then you go under, I think it's admissions concurrent, you can scroll down and see all the courses that are offered for spring that is viewable, but this is just an example schedule of last spring of a student. And so just want to walk you through because this may be new to you. And so we want to make sure that you understand your schedule, know where you're going, what to expect, things like that. So some of it is self-explanatory, but we'll still walk through it. So you'll have the year, the term. So SP is short for spring. FA is short for fall. If you had something in the summer, it would most likely be SU. And so that's what that term is. And your term is going to be 16 weeks. So it's usually either it's going to be in the fall, it's going to run August to December. If you're going to be in the spring, you're going to have a January to May. So those are your two 16-week term courses. Course title is going to be the course that you are taking. So it's either going to be that English Comp 1, American Federal Government. It may be this student was taking Principles of Managerial Accounting. The start date. So this one's a little bit unique because they have different start dates. They may have been taking an 8-week course, but typically it's going to be, so this year, if you're taking a spring 2025 course, it would be 1/10/2025. And so that is going to be the start date of that course. That is when your class begins. Location is online where that class is going to be meeting. So if it's online, it'll say that. If it says KH, that'll be Kennedy Hall. So that's also where the Learning Resource Center was housed. If it says Maine, that's going to be Fozzard Hall. So that's where like your admissions counselor, that building, that's where those courses would be. And those are the only two buildings, MACU was really great at. Those are the only two buildings that your classes would be physically held. So either in Kennedy Hall or Fozzard Hall, or you would be online. Days of the week, those are the days that you would either come to campus to attend your course. So if you see T or Tuesday, Thursday, that would be that. If you see a T-TR, that TR indicates a Thursday course. If you see an M and a W, that's Monday, Wednesday, or it may be an M, W, and an F. That would be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as you can see here. And then if it's online, you would see NA, which is not available because it's an online course. Meeting time, again, online course. And so you're kind of self-pacing yourself about when you're going to get your homework done. Of course, you would have assignments due at specific times, but you don't have to physically meet anywhere. And then if you were meeting on campus, it would tell you the times in which you are meeting. CST is Central Standard Time. And then the course status is current. So you are currently enrolled in that class. And so that is how you would read your course schedule. If you ever are not sure how to read it, please stop by either Solution Center. You can always walk down the hall where the Cafe 1412, and that's where my office is located. You can either stop in the manager corner and be like, I need to talk to someone about my schedule, and they will find someone to assist you. So we're always willing to help. We would love to have you on campus and see your face. So never feel like you are inconveniencing us. We are here to help you. All right, next slide. Academic integrity. I'm going to touch on this just quickly because your faculty members or your professors in their syllabus are going to have, like Chris said, they're an academic integrity policy. They're going to have some guidelines about how you can be the best student. But I just wanted to touch base because we know technology is robust and it changes daily. And so it would be a disservice to you all if we didn't at least give a little preview to it. So using AI, my guidance is always ask first. So if you're thinking about using AI, about you need to write let's say an essay, and you type into AI, give me an outline of an essay or something. Check with your professor. They most likely will have guidance on either how to use AI, either information about how to build the framework of how to do your assignment. You never want to turn in an assignment and then you maybe get a 0 because all of your work has been identified as AI usage. So always check with your professors. They're willing to ask, or willing to answer any questions that you have to ask. User resources, a library resource center, the LRC, like I previously mentioned, has multiple services to ensure that you have the opportunity to be successful. Don't hesitate to reach out. They have tutors there that can help you. Like I mentioned, the Upswing app, they are also good to help you. They have a writing and communication lab. that can also assist with kind of any assignments that you may have in your courses. Also planning ahead. I know when I was in college that sometimes I would wait till the last minute and I would be stressed to the max. And so when you can plan ahead, you give yourself time and space to organize your thoughts, walk through your assignment, kind of plan out, okay, I can do this, assignment 1, get this done, maybe follow up, even go back and review what you have written potentially ahead of the deadline. And so that can just provide you space and capacity to do your best work. And again, as I've mentioned multiple times, communication is key. Reach out to your professors ahead of the deadline if you're struggling. I always know that sometimes we forget things and things fall through the cracks, and that's okay. But just set yourself up for success and reach out to your professors ahead of deadlines. Or if you are struggling in the class, reach out to them before the drop date. It's easier to connect with them before you're up against a deadline rather than you have a day or two before the deadline. You can always, like Chris mentioned, you can find their contact information within Canvas, potentially under that one of those modules. It also should be listed in your syllabus as well to reach out to them. Okay, let's go to our next slide. Important dates. So I wanted to touch on these important dates as well. And this is recorded, so you can always screenshot this, take a picture of it. But just some things that are important to keep in mind. So spring classes 2025, they do start this Friday in 3 days. Oh my word. That's when class kicks off. Spring Welcome Week, Blake has done a phenomenal job about planning some fun events. We have some basketball games going on, some things happening after the basketball games in between. So you can find that Welcome Week schedule on the MACU Live app. We'd love to have you all there as your schedule permits. If you have not enrolled yet in a spring course and you're still kind of thinking, oh, I don't know if I'd want to take a concurrent course or not, your last day to enroll for that course is going to be January 21st. These dates are all found on the academic calendar. The last day to drop a course without transcript records. So let me break that down to see what that means. When you come to college, just like you're in high school, you have a transcript. And so you can be enrolled in a class up until January 31st and drop that course, and there will be no indication or no record that you were in that class. So it will not appear on your transcript. But anytime after a course of, or anytime after January 31st, you decide, let's say like February 15th, and you're like, okay, well, that's a Saturday. So let's say February 14th, Valentine's Day, that you want to drop this course. You can do that, but on your transcript, you would have the indication, a record of you took English Comp 1, but you would have a W. A W is non-weight bearing, so that will not count into your GPA, but there would be a record that you were in that course. And then let's say you went through the whole semester, the course is not working out for you, and you finally decide, hey, I want to drop that course. That's fine. But your deadline to the last day to drop that course would be April 25th of 2025. If you wait until after that date, you'll most likely receive the grade that you would be given because you are past the deadline. So just things to keep in mind. Just kind of be mindful, take stock and check in with yourself. Like, how am I doing in this class? Is this something feasible that I can get through the whole semester? If so, then great. If you're maybe struggling, reach out to your resources, ensure that you are doing all the things that you can to be successful in that course. But if you come to terms like this is just not going to work, you do have until April 25th of 2025 to drop that course. There would be, again, a record of you being in the course would be a W. But if you decide before January 31st that you do want to drop the class, then there'd be no record of you enrolled in that course. I think that's clear as mud. But again, if you have questions, you can always drop in. I'm more than happy to walk you over to registrar's office. Any of us are happy to help. Let's see. I think that's my last slide. Yeah, that is my last slide. So thank you all. Any of my colleagues want to say anything or any other questions that I maybe have missed or something that we need to touch on?
I did think of one resource for success that is new starting this semester. We have hired an ESL specialist. So for anybody who ends up watching this video down the road, we have an ESL specialist if English is your second language or if you need some extra help there. We have a gentleman who's going to be joining our team, and we're more than happy to get you connected to him if that's something where a place where we can be helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Chris. And we can send, when we send out this recording, we can also drop that information in the follow-up email as well. Okay, we will stop recording now. First, we'll hit that